Boom, 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 boom. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Pod Dogs. Today we got some big ass topics to talk about. We talking about milk. We talking about weather. We talking about whether or not you post on social. We talking about how we got a king in America. Stay tuned for some good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it started.
Nice, dude. I'm hyped.
There we go.
Super hyped.
I feel hyped about that.
There we go.
And speaking of that, I should have been playing this during your intro.
All right.
All right, let's get into it. Okay.
All right, guys.
Yeah, we are recording
So,
on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. And in the past week and a half, there has been some shit that went down in the Supreme Court. And we have to at least mention it. Starting with bribery. So I don't know if you guys are aware, Snyder versus the United States. The Supreme Court last week on Wednesday ruled that a federal anti-bribery law does not make it a crime for state and local officials to accept a gratuity for acts they have already taken. So in short, and kind of generalizing it, that means as long as the gift is given as a reward after an official action has been performed, that corrupt act no longer really counts as a crime.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's not bribery
yeah, it's not bribery anymore.
I have questions. How does that work for something like when Trump was accused of quid pro quo? Right? That isn't, don't you like have to do something and then you get a gift? Isn't that like kind of the same type of bribery? What if they were like, hey, I'll give you a gift afterwards for this action? Couldn't you still be tried under quid pro quo?
Previously, before they made this ruling, you could. So the definition of bribery was a little more broad before this ruling. They have now narrowed it, and therefore to say it's been bribery, it's going to be harder. There's going to be more hurdles to get by. So as far as being able to try people for bribery, you can't really be as aggressive anymore. I think you see it, man. It's kind of wild. Like how can we say that if you do the act and you get paid afterwards, like that's no longer bribery?
Mm-hmm.
So that's wild.
Just delayed payments.
Essentially. And it's interesting because there's a very specific justice on the court, Clarence Thomas, who's known to have taken very expensive trips with his billionaire buddy that had added up to millions of dollars worth of trips. I mean, is it strange that he has ruled in such a way where bribery is no longer really bribery? I mean, I kind of feel like he's saving face here, and the rest of the conservative justices, because they all voted in favor of this. Kagan, Sotomayor, and KBG were the only ones that had a dissenting opinion. Of course they did. So that's just number one of some of the wild shit that just happened last week.
Number one, bribery is in. It's hot right now.
Bribery's hot, baby. So
Bye.
get paid after the act, and you're good to go. Number two, Chevron deference. What does that mean to you guys?
Ooh, this one I don't even think I've heard those words.
A lot of people
Chevron.
don't know. Yeah, I'm not, and that's okay. Unless like you're really paying attention. I don't expect some random person on the street to understand what Chevron deference even like applies to and why it's important.
Deference. Oh yeah, I don't. What does that even mean?
All right, man. So Chevron deference is a legal doctrine that directed courts to defer to federal agencies' interpretations of ambiguous statutes. So, for example, think of a law that might be an environmental law, and it's not really clear how it applies to a certain corporation, whether they're, hey, is the way that they're dumping this fluid, this waste fluid,
Hazardous
is
waste
that
or
illegal
something.
or not? And what would happen is, well, Chevron deference kind of says, well, let's go back to the EPA and have them give us their interpretation of that law in this scenario. And based on what they say, that's how we're going to rule on this case. This was established in 1984, Chevron USA versus Natural Resources Defense Council. What has happened by overturning Chevron deference, meaning they don't have to really defer to the federal agencies anymore, like you don't, in this case, this fake scenario I gave, the judge would not have to defer to the EPA. This leaves the decisions to be determined by the judicial branch. So your judge who is not an expert in the environmental laws, environmental policies, or in maybe anything environmental related, just a judge, would be making that final decision. Now, there is another deference, the Skidmore deference, which kind of does allow experts to be considered, but it is a much weaker doctrine than Chevron deference. So this has provided more power to the judicial branch and to judges to be making these final determinations, as opposed to having your experts in the field making the calls about the ambiguity of these regulations and these laws.
Okay, that makes sense. I did hear stuff about how, all these new things that were happening obviously just help benefit big businesses that are being supported by XYZ candidates, right? But we kind of know who.
Yeah, and it definitely can help big business, right? Now, if there's another court that comes up, once again, let's just use the EPA. Like I said, if there's a business that's just dumping their wastewater into a river and the law that's written there is kind of ambiguous, conservatives can just say, like, it doesn't apply. And then they'll just keep dumping.
Nice.
Keep dumping. Yep, so that one is definitely a stab at the administrative state, which I'd say conservatives and not independents. God, what's the crazy ones that are just out of their mind?
Tea Party?
The what party?
Tea Party?
No, Tea Party, kind of. Oh my God, why am I forgetting what these freaks are called?
Crazies?
Freaks.
Libertarians. Oh my God.
You libertarian freak.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna match my freak.
Dude, they hate the administrative state. They think any type of administrative agency is just a waste of taxpayer money. So at least that's my understanding, that anything essentially that's like the EPA, your Department of Health, the Department of Education, they just cut it all if they could and just keep things super, super local. Anyways, Chevron deference being overturned, I'd for sure say you are weakening the administrative state to enforce their regulatory policies. Big power grab by the Supreme Court justices. And of course, Jackson recused herself from this, so she didn't have a vote on this. But Sotomayor and Kagan obviously dissented. Last one. America's having a king again, baby.
The big one.
Bring back the monarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so presidential immunity. This is what we're talking about. Trump versus United States. The Supreme Court addressed Donald Trump's claim of immunity from prosecution for his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. What happened, and this was just yesterday, the court gave Trump a victory. We'll just say a victory. Because they ruled that a former U.S. president cannot be prosecuted for official actions taken while in office. And that is kind of a key word here, is official actions. And now what this means for his specific case, that there has to be a lower court now, this is going to be, the case is going to be taken to a lower court to decide on how this affects his criminal case, right? They're going to have to decide, well, what in this case can be counted as an official act versus like a personal act. And the issue here now is, well, how do you define that? Because they gave some in their in the majority opinion, there was some kind of examples, but still, this is something that can just be litigated, right? Like, well, I'm going to argue that me stealing a Snickers bar from the 7-Eleven was an official act. I don't know how, but I'm sure someone can argue it. And
right.
If you can argue it, that means you just delay justice. And, well, delayed justice is kind of like justice not even served. So, big victory for Trump here. He will likely not see this case being tried before the election. And
nope.
This definitely seems like an expansion of the powers to the executive branch.
I even heard that there is a AI bot online right now that you can type in any crime you want, and it will spit out back legalese on how you can constitute it as an official action.
And that's the scary part, right? Because anything you do is going to be held up in litigation to argue whether it is or is not an official act. which essentially means the president can start doing shit under the guise that this is an official act. And by the time we even get to debating about it, whatever he has done has already had huge impacts. And we might never actually see those things in court. I mean, it's wild to me. It is absolutely wild to me that the justices were willing to just like let this go and give him a win like that and give the power to the executive branch like that. I don't think they're dumb. Like, they're not naive. They know what they're doing. But holy shit, to me, it is a little nerve-wracking. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Mm-hmm. And everything I've heard on speaking about it essentially is if Trump does win the election, that at that point he's just gonna, I'm an innocent man, and all of his crimes from before are gonna be all gone.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, though, that's definitely what we're gonna see. Is those crimes and those cases will disappear, and not just that. I think in his second term, I think he truly will be pressing the boundaries of his powers a lot more. So I am not looking forward to that. I mean, even beyond just Trump and whatever he can do, I'm not looking forward to a MAGA Republican administration in general. I think that brings a lot of other shit I don't want to deal with. I mean, honestly, I think if Trump does come into office, you're looking at most likely, or at least I would expect, Alito and Clarence Thomas from the Supreme Court. I would expect maybe at least one of them to retire, but I could see both of them retiring and being replaced by younger and just as conservative justices, which means it's another 30 to 40 years of justices on that court ruling in ways that they just did in the past 2.5 weeks.
Why don't they have term limits? I never understood that. I don't know why. It's just, to me it seems like common sense that any government position should have a term limit. Oh.
I mean, that has its own pros and cons, but I don't know what to tell you. At this point, I kind of wish there was term limits, but fuck, like I don't know what I can say.
I even heard to the extreme when they were talking about this, because people are always going to go to the extreme. It's like, if a president wants to call SEAL Team 6 to go assassinate a rival, you could justify it as an official act now.
Yeah, I think I truly believe someone could definitely argue that, and here's Biden came out, I think it was earlier today, and had like a 5-minute speech just saying, that ruling I don't really agree with it, but I'm gonna be the bigger man and be a president that doesn't abuse that fucking power. It's like, bro, abuse it. No.
That's what I thought. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, abuse the fuck out of this now. Like, show everyone why this is such an issue. Do things to the extreme now because you fucking can. And then maybe people will pay attention and put some limitations on the fucking Supreme Court because they need it. And this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I was having that exact conversation with my mom. I was like, throw Trump in jail, call him a traitor, and just be like, official act.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Do it. And I mean, I agree that would be a fucking abuse of power, but maybe we'll actually do something about this. And maybe we'll do something to prevent this from happening. Because if he doesn't do it, I almost guarantee Trump will.
Of course.
I guarantee he will abuse this power.
He's champing at the bit.
Yeah, just fucking do it now and show us why this shouldn't be around.
Official act. Make all those Supreme Court people resign. Official.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I get to put who I want. Official.
Make them dress up as drag so that, black Republicans could just freak the fuck out and give them a Bud Light.
That's Giuliani.
Yeah, got one. Thank you.
Oh, man. I am excited for tonight. I hope you guys listening are enjoying this.
You're amped, bro.
Dude, I got a fucking half chub, maybe 3/4 going on right now.
Yeah?
He's full choden.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, I'm going to do some breathing exercises over here. So that was the update for the past week. Hopefully we don't have any more updates like that next time we get As I do my breathing exercises and bring my heart rate down, Matt, please tell us what you found recently.
All right, so I guess segueing into me, I did a little research project. So, as you guys know, not everyone knows, though, I was in the Air Force, and my role in the Air Force was a meteorologist. While I was in the Air Force, I discovered that there is a position or a job called Special Operations Weather Technician. So basically, my job, what I did, but with a Special Forces component attached to it. Um, for you two, what do you guys know, or what do you guys know about like Special Forces? Like, if I just say Special Forces, it's just like Call of Duty.
I think of people like jumping out of planes in the middle of the night with parachutes and sneaking into enemy territory.
Yeah, I think of the when I think of special forces, obviously I kind of understand that every military branch has their own, but then I think these are like the most badass guys, right? The most elite of elite soldiers that the military branch has to offer, and these are the guys who go do the missions that normal people can't do because they're so trained, and we put extra time and effort into making them super soldiers in a way almost.
Exactly. So every branch of the military has one. So the Air Force, the Army, the Marines, and the Navy. And there's different type of special forces within those branches. Some of the popular ones in the Air Force are the pararescue, the combat controllers, CCTs, and then there was one called the SOUTs. What do you guys think a special operations weather technician would do?
I mean, provide weather, right?
Other, what's the T?
All right. Technician.
Special operations weather technician. You you specialize in getting your troops in to places that have extreme weather conditions that maybe you're not used to. I don't know.
Sort of. So the idea is to basically get weather information in these zones that are in contention.
Okay.
The idea is to be able to move your assets into these places safely, moving in and out assets safely. But let's go a little bit into the legacy of SOUTs first. So, special operations weather technicians were not your typical meteorologists. They are elite airmen operated in some of the most hostile and denied territories, gathering, assessing, and interpreting critical weather and environmental intelligence. They are embedded within the Air Force and the Army Special Forces operations, providing indispensable data on weather, ocean, river, snow, and terrain conditions. This intelligence was vital for mission planning, execution, and ensuring the success of special operations worldwide. So, as you can imagine, with Air Force pilots, you would need weather reports to be able to know beforehand on your mission, like if you were able to go, like a briefing. Ryan, as a pilot, you got your briefings from Tower,
Mm-hmm.
right? So my job was to give these reports to basically pilots about to take off in the comfort of my own little office. These guys drop into hostile territory, gather that data, and send it like for immediate report.
Also, they're like boots on the ground.
They are boots on the
Okay,
ground. These
cool,
guys are
cool,
also
cool.
trained killers.
Right,
These
right,
guys
I
are
see.
like rifle trained. These guys have like PT. I don't have the mission statement myself for SOUTs, but I did find it online, and I handed it over to Ryan. So Ryan, can you show us that clip of what the mission statement for a special operations weather technician would be?
All right, baby, let's view this. And then we'll make a cut right here as I get this shit set up.
Cut. It's perfect. Not having to cut. Take a bite of my
Don't forget
food.
to like and subscribe.
All right, I gotta share for you guys also.
Holy fuck, this is too hot.
So
Oh, that's not ready yet. Okay, hold on.
I'll just prep it a little bit.
You want to talk
So
a little
we'll-
more?
A little bit about just what we're gonna watch.
And
So what we're
yeah, go ahead and we'll cut back in.
Okay. So what this is I basically found a video of the training for special operations weather. These guys, there's more emphasis on the PT, the physical training for any special operations forces. So here's just like a little clip of them training and what they would have to go through, and basically him reciting the mission statement of Special Operations Weather.
2, 3. The mission of a Special Operations Weatherman is deployed by the most feasible means available in a combat and non-permissive environments. Special Operations Weathermen are special tactic operators who establish weather data networks while simultaneously providing environmental reconnaissance, terrain intelligence, and target weather in the joint arena. Additionally, Special Operations Weathermen expertly employ...
Get on the pull-up bar and say the mission statement. Let's go.
Hang in 3. 1, 2, 3. The mission of a Special Operations Weatherman is deployed by the most feasible means available in combat and non-permissive environments. Special Operations Weathermen are special tactic operators who establish weather data networks while simultaneously providing environmental reconnaissance, terrain intelligence, and target weather in the joint arena. Additionally, Special Operations Weathermen expertly employ... 1,
Fuck,
2,
man.
3. The mission of a Special Operations Weatherman is deployed by the most feasible means available in combat and non-permissive environments. 1, 2.
Basically, that's what it is. But you keep doing that until you get it, and these guys are like badass. That's why they're special forces. So they're trained during the war in Iraq. Like they would be gathering dust storm data, stuff like that. So as things developed, as time went on, the use for them actually kind of went down, and they actually went through a complete revamping, and they is no longer Special Operations Weather.
They're gone?
Yeah, they're gone. They
No.
are officially gone. Yes, they are gone. As of April 30th, 2019, so after I got out, they are renamed Special Reconnaissance, or SR. So their job, the meteorological study of this group of special operators was basically gutted. Like 75% of it was gutted. And they were basically introduced a new study of the environment that they are now studying is more on the electromagnetic spectrum. So they are studying like devices that can mitigate adversarial responses to like air units coming in. Like, for example, not that we would, but like the Iron Dome, right, in Israel. Like how do you like basically EMP it in a way, and like can we bring in air support because there's no electromagnetic interference in this area. They're doing stuff like now taking ravens. A raven is a UAV, a drone.
Oh, dude, I thought you meant like a real raven, like a bird. Like, no way.
A UAV raven.
Okay.
These are like mini ravens, right? Or mini UAVs that do recon, right? Their title is Special Reconnaissance. And so they just gather data with these little drones.
So it's like less boots on the ground?
It's more boots on the ground, actually.
Oh, more boots on the ground.
It's more boots on the ground, less weather.
Less weather.
Yes. You are now basically like in a special ops team, you are basically the guy that's like the techie spy, right? Like, what was that one video game that I told you that I liked playing back in the day? Splinter Cell?
Oh yeah, Splinter Cell, sure.
This position has become more Splinter Cell like. It's not like weather and thunderstorms and all that, because technology has advanced so much, and like AI and all these things, that you don't really need these guys to do that. So you need like a different sort of manipulation in a different environmental field.
So you're saying like every team will have one of these guys?
There's a higher chance that these guys will be on a team because they do reconnaissance, and all teams need recon.
Gotcha.
And these guys are only Air Force. They're going to go through more rigorous physical training. So not only do they do what was called jump school originally with Sautis, now they do something called free fall training, which I believe is like basically like you're almost like thrown out of a plane and you have to like save your own life, like getting the parachute out. There's a diving school component now, like where they do underwater stuff. Now they're not just trained with rifles, they have to go to sniper school, so they're also going to have sniper training. They have a higher drone training, and basically the study is electromagnetic studies. But yes, this is the new field of weather. Quick fun fact that I did note, it was also named SR because they gave it, or SR because back in, I don't remember what year, a few years actually before I joined, in Texas, in the Special Forces schooling, there was a murder. A student came and shot an instructor who was actually a SOUT, a Special Forces weather guy.
Damn.
So a student soldier shot this guy, and his name was Colonel William Schroeder, Bill Schroeder, and his nickname was SR. So this is kind of a little bit of an homage to him being called SR because he was one of the original SOUTs. SOUT was also given its specialty code, like a unique specialty code. Every job in the military has a code. Mine was like 1 whiskey 0XX, depending on your skill level. But Special Ops Weather was given a specialty code only back in 2008. So it's only lasted basically like 16 years before it is now called Special Reconnaissance.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you, when you were in the Air Force, did you have any inclination to maybe do it for yourself?
A little bit, but I saw the training, the physical training, and it's way intense. So the SOUT guys were in our classrooms as well. Like our meteorological school was like 10 months in Mississippi, and they'd be in the classroom with us like every day. But they had to like run to the classroom like together, holding like a giant log. And if anyone like let go of the log, like they'd have to like do like push-ups, and they weren't allowed to like walk anywhere. They had to constantly be like running, and like it was just so much physical activity and extra stuff on top of the educational stuff that I was like, I'm not making a career out of this, so I'll just sit on the sidelines.
I mean, yeah, if you wanted it to be your career, then maybe you would have considered it, right? That makes a lot of sense.
But the recon stuff actually looks more enticing to me, like the special recon.
The revamped version.
The revamped version looks pretty cool, but it's still like lethal, and I really don't want to put myself in a situation where I want to get into a firefight because I like my life.
Yeah.
But the technology and all the stuff that you learn in that schooling seems really cool.
It's very cool.
So what will it take to get you back in?
Probably a $150,000 signing bonus.
You heard them, recruiters. It's all it takes. It's a little cash.
Just a little bit.
You need another body. We got one for you right here.
Just a little bit. But yes, that is SOUT, now SR, Special Ops Weather, Special Reconnaissance.
Was there anybody that, I don't know, that you were kind of close to when you were in the Air Force that ended up doing it?
No, dude, they're really hard to. They're like rare. They're like rare Pokemon. Okay. I knew a couple washouts.
Okay.
Because the people who couldn't physically do it kind of washed out into just regular meteorologists.
Sure.
And would be like, kind of tell you like, hey, we would do this, and they kind of felt they were a little bit better than everyone.
Yeah. At least we tried.
Yeah, exactly. Like they still wear like the PT uniform they went from, because you get a special like PT outfit if you were in Special Forces, like an AFSOC shirt, and like they'd wear like their AFSOC shirts to like PT.
You didn't even make it, bro.
Yeah, seriously, but
still cool.
Tip of the spear, guys.
If you were to go back again, do you think you would have tried to go for this? To be a part of that?
If you get all your years back.
To a Special Ops Weather?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It took you a
Recon,
little.
maybe. No. It would be cool to say that I am doing it and the stuff that they do is cool, but I know that most of it is really hard work and not fulfilling to me.
Fair enough. You didn't want to make a career out of it, so it's kind of hard to dedicate the rest of your life to something. Or at least your working life. And then put your life at risk on top of it.
I didn't want to spoil anything.
Well, I'm glad nothing got spoiled.
Oh, shit.
But speaking of spoiled, you guys want to talk about some milk?
Yeah, you got
I
some?
hate milk.
You hate
I
milk?
want to hear it. I don't drink milk. I don't hate milk, but I don't drink milk.
You know what's funny? Neither do I. I don't drink milk.
Yes, I cannot. I'm lactose, so I can't quite.
Oh,
I'll eat it in cereal and stuff.
you're lactose
I think I've
intolerant.
developed an intolerance.
Well, you guys are just in luck, man. You're just in luck. So, I found, or this came across my feed a few weeks ago, and it really interested me. We are talking about raw milk. Raw milk is milk that hasn't been homogenized or pasteurized. What does that mean? Homogenization is essentially just taking the fatty cream from the raw milk. There's like, giant like fat globules that they just use pressure and compress to make it small, and therefore it's able to mix with the liquid of the milk and make it a homogeneous mixture. There's no longer like a bunch of like separation, right? Now it's just looks like one type of liquid, homogenization. Pasteurization is the use of heat to help reduce the amount of microorganisms in that milk. It's a way to treat and make it safer to drink. It's not sterilization, where if you use like isopropyl alcohol and a little bit of water, you can sterilize, and also use heat, you can essentially kill all microorganisms. No, this isn't sterilization, but it does reduce the amount of microorganisms in effect to try and get rid of any potential pathogens that can make you sick and ill. We're talking about E. coli. We're talking about that's the first one I can think of right now. Anyways, so raw milk, no homogenization, no pasteurization. It's just from the udder to the mouth. Well, there's a whole process
From teat to table.
But I think you get the point of what raw milk is now. So why did I see this? What makes this so interesting? Well, the raw milk movement is what I see as a pro-health movement. People who like raw milk say there's a lot of health benefits to drinking raw milk. That raw milk has made them feel healthier. It has a lot of it's associated with lower rates of asthma, and oh boy, I got some things up here I better read. Okay, lower rates of asthma, allergies, eczema, ear infections, fevers, respiratory infections. It's essentially like a superfood is what the pro raw milk advocates are saying here. Now I asked you guys, hey, go on the internet, do a search, and kind of tell me what you see. Like, don't do anything like too in depth. I just want to kind of see, like, give me a feeler of what you saw when you got online and were looking at, search the term raw milk.
Not really anything. It's just sales, like Trader Joe's, like, hey, buy milk.
Okay.
I didn't wiki what raw milk definition was.
And I didn't really want you to. So you went to Google, you searched raw milk, and just that's what you read.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Bob, what about you?
I think I googled something to the effect of raw milk benefits. Read a few things that a lot of what you already mentioned, right? A lot of people advocate that it is almost like a supplement. There's so many things that you get in the unpasteurized version that you wouldn't get in the pasteurized, the cleansed version, that it's beneficial to you to drink it. And then the other side of it, because every time you see a post about it, there's always counter posts about it, is that people are saying it's not worth the risk, because
Okay.
there's I think what they were kind of saying is like the number one benefit you'd probably get from raw milk is probiotics, and the amount of probiotics you could get from raw milk is not worth risking you getting diseases like E. coli or Listeria just because you think it's a superfood, and those things are significantly more common in unpasteurized milks. You could get these probiotics by taking a supplement or eating Greek yogurt. But, I think these people kind of are on their high horse, like, well, look at me, I'm so healthy, like I do everything natural, and that's why it's better for me.
Yet the drive to why such a pro advocacy for raw milk, I think, is interesting in itself. I think it goes beyond just the health benefits. I do see that there seems to be people who just want to have an individual choice, to be able to make a choice. We saw through COVID that being told to wear a mask fucking flipped people out. Like just being told
Outrageous.
to do something was outrageous. So I think there's definitely a fraction here of this population that I believe just wants the freedom of choice to make that decision whether they're going to drink raw milk or not, because raw milk is not legal in all of the states. California does permit the sale of raw milk, and I'm pretty sure there is no sale interstate at the moment. I can't remember how many states it is that
I think it's
does
20.
About 20.
Yeah, I think it's 20.
About 20 states with some form of legality to purchase raw milk. And then, I think Canada, Australia, I think those two do not sell raw milk at all. Parts of Europe definitely have raw milk available. So, you got a mixed bag around the world of its availability. And as far as the searches you saw, what was the frequency, I guess, or how many like pro raw milk or anti raw milk posts did you see on your search here? Like, what did you think was favored in your search?
Older posts I was seeing from like maybe even back in 2019. The older the posts, the more pro raw milk they were, and it's not like there weren't a lot of pro milk or raw milk stuff in the current past couple of years, but it seemed like the older ones had more prominence than it is now. Now, I don't know, it's just a few web pages, right? It seems almost kind of 50-50, because if you go on a post that says raw milk is bad, there's a lot of people commenting it's good, and then if you go on a post that says it's good, there's plenty of people saying it's not worth it. It's too risky.
Interesting. Yeah. So I took down some notes here about what my search looked like. I did not take down how old some of these sources were, and I guess you'll kind of see why. I just went to Google. I had my VPN on, California located, wasn't signed into an account, and I just typed in the word raw milk into Google to see what came up on that first page. Which links was it giving me? And it was kind of 50-50. About 5 results were anti-raw milk. Oh, okay, a little more than 50-50. 5 results anti-raw milk. 3 of them were definitely pro-raw milk, and 1 was a kind of a neutral centrist position here, which I found intriguing. Like, okay, you had the FDA, the California Department of Public Health, another FDA link, and the CDC link for the anti-milk. And then for pro-milk, one of the first links you will see if you do just raw milk in Google will be something to realmilk.com. And then another one that you're most likely to see again is going to be rawmilkinstitute.org. So those are, once again, those are pro raw milk advocates. And when I took this and went to, the one centrist, by the way, was delish.com, which I thought was kind of cool. That one at least said like, hey, like, here's the, what are the health benefits that are being claimed? Not saying that they're true, just saying that these are what's claimed, and here's the actual risk that can happen. Like, these things can happen to you if you drink raw milk. So I was like, all right, that's neat. But I took this search and I went to YouTube, and wildly different results. And I found this crazy. Same thing. Went to YouTube, search raw milk. Out of the first 15 videos recommended, do you want to give me a guess on how it differed between the pro raw milk versus the anti raw milk?
I'm going 85% pro.
85% pro?
Yep.
What'd you say, Matt? You kind of agree there?
12-3. Yep.
12 to that is almost on the money. I counted 13-2. 13 pro raw milk, 2 anti raw milk. I watched them all. So you didn't have to. And holy shit, the claims that people make are bold. There's claims that this is a cure for asthma, hay fever, that this will definitely make you not sick. If you're lactose intolerant, you drink raw milk, because you will be able to drink it if you're lactose intolerant. There's no problem with raw milk, which is wild. Which, by the way, I hope you're aware that a lot of people say they're lactose intolerant and never actually get tested for being lactose intolerant. So
fair. That's true. That I fall into that category, I will say.
My intolerance is I fart a lot, so that's what I call intolerance.
Just saying, like, I don't know, maybe
If I have milk, you don't want to be in the room with me.
But once again, yeah, you know your body better than I do. And if you drink milk, you fart a lot, so be it. I'm not going to challenge you on that. Anyways, definitely lots of claims for these health benefits. The probiotics, the reduced allergies by introducing it early in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, who are these people that are saying this? How many views are going towards this? So I took down the number of subscribers for each of these channels. I took down the number of views on each of these videos. And it was astounding how much a YouTube search leaned towards being pro raw milk. And we haven't even got to whether these claims have any validity yet. And so after looking at this, you know, you've got accounts with names like Doctor This, Doctor That, which is hilarious because one of the doctors was just a fucking chiropractor. Not to say he's smart, but it's just like, dude, like this is who you're gonna take your health advice from. I mean, and then people are listening to me now probably thinking the same thing. Like, well, who the fuck are you, Ryan? Like, why are you talking about this? It's like, good point. Don't listen to me either. I guess go listen to a fucking real doctor and not
a nutritionist, perhaps.
Yeah, go listen to someone else.
Milk
Then.
doctor.
But I am here for awareness, and I guess the whole goal of why I'm bringing this up now is because what I started to notice immediately was this is definitely pseudoscience being pushed. This is pseudoscience being pushed with an agenda that is masked in health, but a lot of these fuckers are just trying to sell you shit. That's what's going on here. These people want to sell you something. And
Milk.
And people buy into it. And that's infuriating to me. So that's why I wanted to bring this up and talk to it. I want people to be able to understand and see the bullshit and how I kind of measured whether or not this was shenanigans or whether or not these people are telling me the truth. And before we get further into that, just a little bit on the numbers here, as far as those YouTube views, the pro raw milk views on those first 15 videos that popped up, 3.6, almost 3.7 million views for those pro raw milk videos. Anti raw milk only had 29,000.
Damn, look at all those fucking sheep.
I find that wild. Absolutely wild. The amount of bias that the results from YouTube are putting in front of your eyes to watch. But so fucking be it. It's the world we live in. And I think part of this, you know, these people, not just, when I said they're selling you something, sometimes I think they're really just trying to sell clicks and views. Because it's obviously these videos that are pro raw milk are getting all the views and all the attention. Like, people are getting views on their videos. So if they're trying to make money through ads or whatever the fuck it is, talking about raw milk and being pro raw milk is a really good way to go about it. Now, let's go back to the Google search, and now let's start talking about some of these claims and how I approach this. The first thing,
Can I pause you for a second?
go for it, dude.
I know the answer, but this is all under the assumption that this is cow's milk.
Yes, yeah, cow's milk. And I think there's people who want also goat's milk and fucking other milk, but I'm mainly here talking about cow's milk is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about cow's milk.
And I don't know if there's any connection. I didn't do any research on this, but I feel that there would be a pro-milk agenda from people who are pro-cow, like Indians. And I wonder if they're pro-milk, you know? Or what do they feel about milk? Or do they just feel the cow is sacred? I don't know.
From my reading, I did not get any sense of that.
No Indian influence in the raw milk market?
I did not. I'm sorry. I have nothing to provide on that.
All right.
Great question. Maybe someone else can provide some.
Shout out our Indian audience.
Yeah. Indian fans.
Let us know in the comments below.
Our Indian fans that are hiding behind profiles that are like Big Boob 6'9".
Yeah, my Hyderabadis.
So starting with rawmilk.com. All right. I'm going through this site, seeing who supports this site. One of the main supporters, Weston A. Price Foundation. Who the hell is that? Well, it's founded by a woman named Sally Fallon Morell, who is obviously very pro raw milk. But this foundation that she has founded has been publicly criticized for spreading medical misinformation and dangerous advice. Okay, noted. I'll take that take that down. And I found it funny when I went into their raw milk safety page. One of the first links that they linked to, as evidence of the claims how raw milk is safe, because there is a claim, as we kind of discussed earlier, pasteurization is to help reduce the number of pathogens to therefore make it safer to drink and to store to extend shelf life. And raw milk doesn't have that benefit. The pro raw milk advocates try to make a claim that raw milk is inherently safe. And I'll be clear right now, the overall risk to getting something with raw milk is still low. But when you're looking at the relative risk compared to drinking your pasteurized milk, your relative risk for drinking raw milk and getting an illness is much higher. It is absolutely higher, somewhere between like 100 to 800 times higher. But overall, the absolute risk, it is still low. I'll concede on that. And I think that's fine. But I think a lot of people and a lot of the videos that we watch in these sites, they don't really make that clear. They just say it's safe.
Not.
And they make comparisons to like, well, look at cantaloupes. More people got sick eating cantaloupes in the past year than raw milk. Well, yeah, motherfucker, more people eat cantaloupes. Like, how many people are drinking raw milk? Like, are you insane? Like, what type of comparison is this? And that's the shit that I listened to on an hour and a half debate on raw milk. It was making a comparison about cantaloupes. And it's like, you guys are reaching for anything at this point. So the raw milk page had a lot of unsupported claims. Besides that link, that was a dead link. The first link was a dead link. A lot of other unsupported claims. But then it does mention the Raw Milk Institute in one of their other pages. And we're going to pick on Raw Milk Institute a bit because it's one of the sites that we do see, one of the first sites you see when you make a search for it. And it does seem to be a big player in pro raw milk advocacy. And this organization was founded by Mark McAfee. Now, who is this guy? This guy, CEO and founder of Raw Farm LLC. This is a large-scale raw milk production and distribution business in California.
No biases here.
Make your own conclusion. Honestly, just make your own conclusion on that alone. Go for it. All right? But that's who founded rawmilkinstitute.org, and that is who is helping to push this agenda. All right? A dude who owns a company that sells raw milk products. Anyways, they have a page for science-based research page. Went to it. This page takes you and defers you to the British Columbia Hershare Association for a comprehensive list of studies. Their words, not mine. Comprehensive list of studies. And these studies are to obviously promote and make evidence and support the health claims that they're making and to explain why this is safe. In here, the studies are from 2001 to 2018. I don't know why they only went far back as 2001. It's what they're giving me. All right, so this is what we're working with. In total, 42 reference studies. 15 of those are cross-sectional, meaning they're just observational. 14 are perspective and cohorts, so meaning like they follow a group of people for some period of time. And then you have studies that are in vitro and in vivo. That ended up being 6. That means they're studying outside of an organism. And then some studies are done inside of an organism, usually like a mouse. And then they had 7 other studies that were like large reviews and like meta-analysis studies. So, which is, these type of studies are good when you're trying to make some type of claims. You need a varied amount of studies. What they don't have are any random controlled trials. That's the gold standard of any study. And I kind of want to shit on them a little bit for not having any. But I think in this regard, to do something like that, I think is actually a huge ethical concern to knowingly give people something that has the potential to kill them, regardless that the risk is low. You get sick from Listeria or E. coli, you're not treated quickly enough, yeah, you could die. And you can get those things from pasteurized milk too, but chances are, like we said, a lot lower. Anyways, I know I'm dragging ass here. So
you're not dragging ass.
So anyways, I started reading through some of these studies. And it is, again, fascinating because they make the claim like, hey, this study shows that drinking raw milk good for your allergies. But even within the study, if you actually read some of these studies, in the discussion, in the results, what we have found here, we still cannot recommend drinking raw milk. Like, whoa. What? Are you kidding me? You guys.
This is your ammo.
Yeah, this is your ammo. A study that also says like we cannot recommend raw milk based off of this study. Like, I get it. That's just one study. But when you have several studies that are saying that, it's like it's not a winning battle for you. And so,
But
like,
no one's reading that.
and I think that's part of it. I don't think people are reading this.
Yeah, they just go, look, there's 30 studies on here.
And it's not to say that all of these studies are bad. They're not. Some of these studies are pretty good, and they do give some good indications, and you should follow up on these. You know, they're not all terrible. But I think it's like saying, hey, Bobby made a 3-point basket on the court. Cool. Bobby can play in the NBA. Like, that is the type of jumps that are being made here sometimes. It's like, whoa, you got to like slow down here. Like, there's some other criteria that should probably be, you know, researched first before we say Bobby can play in the NBA. But yes, he definitely can shoot a 3-pointer. That's good. Like, okay, that tells us something. It's suggestive that he can at least play basketball. So there is some suggestive evidence that there might be some benefits to raw milk. But even then, you know, there's nothing here that gives you causality. There's a lot of correlation, but even that could be a little dubious. So
Dubious.
I'll be honest, I cannot read every 42 of these studies. I took a handful, read through them, did the best I could, and it's like, all right, this will take me forever, and I'll never talk about this if I have to read every single study. So I found that someone else already did. The state of Maryland has a report, a 36-page report. It's called A Literature Review of the Risks and Benefits of Consuming Raw and Pasteurized Cow's Milk. And we'll post a link to this if you're interested. We'll have a link in the description. Please, if you're considering raw milk, I think you should really read this. This is a lot easier to digest, because if I tell you to go to the CDC website, you're just going to, I don't know, just say I'm in the pocket of fucking big pasteurized milk.
You're a shill.
Big past. Big
By the
Louie.
way, the CDC website about the myths of raw milk is actually really good. It's another, you should read that too. I'm probably gonna leave a link for that too, because they include references to the studies that are also a part of the pro raw milk, describing why those are just, you know, aren't substantial enough evidence. So anyways, let's go to the Maryland report here, the Maryland document. So this document, you know, a response to the request from the Maryland House of Delegates Health and Government Operations Committee. This was put together in 2014, and they started with examining 1,000 scientific articles for consideration in the review. After eliminating articles that were not informative to the questions posed, our screening process resulted in the inclusion of 81 articles from the peer-reviewed literature. At the very end, because I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, because don't be ridiculous.
Keep it
But
in your pants.
what was their recommendation at the end of all this review? People who are more qualified than Ryan Dorman, Matt Riebel, than Bobby Tay. What did they say?
Raw
Based-
milk bad.
No drinky.
On our review of the scientific literature, we believe that there is no scientific evidence supporting the claim that the benefits of raw milk outweigh any health risks. I mean, dude, I don't know what else to say here. Just, it does not seem the evidence is on the side for these raw milk enthusiasts to keep drinking this in the hopes that they're getting some type of benefit. And the craziest thing to me too is we don't even need to be drinking milk to be healthy. It's fucking absurd.
True. Big true.
I agree. But are you going to go fight Big Milk, Ryan?
Hell no.
Big lechy.
I mean, there is a part of the raw milk movement that I do like, which is a push for raw milk does push for more localized sources. And I think that's a really good push. I think localized sources and localizing your food is actually a really beneficial thing to do. Shortening the supply chain, to me, I think increases the economic activity around that area. It provides jobs for people. Your food hopefully is more fresh and healthier that way. So in that regard, I really do like the movement for just that cause. Do I care for the whole raw milk issue? No, I don't. But I would enjoy having a localized source of milk if I wanted one.
Yeah, the in and out
Great.
way.
So, yeah, and this 36-page report, once again, a lot of the studies that the Raw Milk Institute are using for their claims, they're brought up in this report here, and they're talked about, and they're discussed and dissected and just put to bed. It's wild. And so,
Put them in a coffin.
if the Raw Milk Institute is one of the largest advocates for raw milk, in the studies that they're using, the best evidence that they have cannot hold water to the criticisms of all these other studies and all these other professionals and the FDA, who's employed by at least, I think, 12,000 scientists, doctors, physicians. I don't know, man. Sounds like you got sold on a bunch of bullshit. So with that said, go drink raw milk if you want. Just know there's
Raw
Yeah.
milk
yeah.
or like snake oil.
Snake oil might be better for you.
Ah, man.
Oh man.
I heard the worst part about it is like the longer, the sooner you're able to drink the milk, the raw milk, the safer it is. But the longer you wait, even if it's in your fridge or whatever, right? That's what makes it significantly more dangerous.
I
Because
mean,
the bacteria
like
has a lot of
valve
time
on
to
the key.
multiply.
It goes bad faster. It doesn't have as long a shelf life. And you know, there's claims that, hey, well, back in the past when this is implemented, yes, raw milk led to a lot of disease and illness in the early 1900s, late 1800s, but you know, mainly because of the practices in distribution and supplying. You know, it wasn't as clean. You didn't have as much refrigeration. Therefore, yes, a lot of people died. But now that we have modern technology, this is a lot more safe. And I believe like it is a lot more safe. But you know, you're still not reducing the number of pathogens because you're not pasteurizing it. Like, if your cow is sick, or if some fecal matter just splashes in the fucking bucket, or whatever happens, like, you're boned.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Some doo doo in your moo moo.
Yeah, man.
Some chocolate milk.
And the advocates will also say like, oh yeah, like outbreaks essentially like never happen. I shouldn't say they say it never happens, but you know, it does still happen. There was an outbreak in San Diego just in October of 2023. 12 people got sick because they had raw milk from raw farms from Mark McAfee. Like, granted, it's 12 people. It's not a whole bunch of people out of who knows how many are drinking it, but let's not pretend like this doesn't happen, that it's not a risk.
12
It
less than if
happens.
they were drinking regular milk.
Yeah, it most likely wouldn't have happened if you had regular milk, which once again, pasteurized milk. People still get sick. But the sheer number of people drinking pasteurized milk absolutely dwarfs the amount of people drinking raw milk. We're talking like 4% of the population at best is drinking raw milk. It's not a lot. Not a lot.
Yeah, kick rocks, Mark. Drink pasteurized milk and eat Greek yogurt, you losers.
Yeah, you should eat Greek yogurt. Also, it seemed like living on a farm was really correlated with having pretty substantial like health. Like you didn't really have allergies or eczema just because you lived on a farm. That is called the farm effect. I didn't look further into the farm effect, but there seems to be some strong correlation that just being on a farm did provide healthier children. So maybe we should be living on a farm. I don't know. Just putting it out there. It might be a thing we want to do.
Yeehaw.
Hot dogs by a farm.
Pod dogs go farming.
I want to hear a joke or some stinky pinkies or some whatever else. We're at the una hora mark.
All right. I got a question for you. If you could only use one word, you could only speak one word for the rest of your life, what word would you pick? Someone comes and erases all the words out of your head, and you can only use one.
But I can still do sign language?
Sure.
So one word.
Yeah. Pick your word.
Love.
Love. All right, Matt, you got one. I know.
Jaguar?
I have mine. Jaguar. Oh, good luck. Good luck communicating with Jaguar. All right, Ryan, answer my question with your word. How do you feel about men who love children?
You never said I always had to speak, though.
Yeah, you don't have to speak, but if you had to answer the question, I'm on the phone and I need an answer. I mean, it's almost better than Matt. Matt would say Jaguar. The word I went with is dude.
It's a pretty universal word.
Another common
Look
one.
at all the swear words.
Another common was fuck.
It's not, family friendly.
It's true. I think dude is the best one. Dude. It's all intonation, right?
Yeah, and I think dude can also continue to expand that conversation, right? Continue the conversation like how you say it. Dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dude?
Dude!
Did.
Yeah, love doesn't quite hit the same. I mean, I guess you could say like, it only seems like I could use love when it's the positive reflection of whatever you just said.
Yeah. It's true.
Maybe Kobe?
Kobe.
Matt just does not want to communicate at all with his word.
You can't with one word. It's either yes, no,
Hey,
fuck,
that's
love.
what I'm telling you. Dude, that's the best one.
Yeah, I mean,
See you next Tuesday?
that's more than one word.
No, but the shortened one.
Oh. I don't know what that one is.
You next.
Oh, I'm
Tuesday.
sorry. Okay, you're right. You were thinking bad words over there. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
Matt's all bad words.
Bad word, Matt.
So we got love, Jaguar, and dude. Drop in the comments what you would put as yours. You want me to wrap it up with a joke?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Maybe I'll keep it in theme here. So what do you get when you when you insert human DNA with a cow?
One more time.
What do you get when you insert human DNA in a cow? You get kicked off of the farm. All right, guys. See you later. Good night. Like, subscribe, and follow us. Love you guys. Peace out.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe. That helps us help you with more content.